NBA player is or team is. I think you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice and even your favorite team or favorite player a disservice if you don't take time today to acknowledge this absolute masterclass by Asia Wilson. He's more 32 points, 20 boards, what was that? 5 assists and 2 steals. Like that level of play is just kind of OD. And I ain't even gonna lie to you, I'm kind of almost surprised that it wasn't like maybe like a 2 block or 3 block type of game because that's normally more of her get down even than the steals. But just with all of this being said, the reason why you have to acknowledge it because if you kind of try to allow this type of performance to go on deaf ears and don't have real conversation about it, if God willing, your favorite player eventually hit these type of numbers, there's nothing to kind of even compare it to if you don't speak highly of what you actually seeing right now. And this real life is GOAT behavior. And this, and even kind of even talking about this, it kind of does make me a little sad and a little irritated with just sports networks because let's be clear, like I kind of almost think we can all imagine if this was a certain player, this could easily lead all major debate shows on, oh, I told you this is the face of the WNBA. This is the greatest women's basketball player of all times. But you kind of need to be, and let's be clear, everything I just said is actually the fact of who Asia Wilson honestly is. But I think realistically, you kind of need that. Even when I listen to a lot of WNBA podcasts, I do kind of almost, and that may be just my toxic male energy. You miss a lot of the debates on hearing who is the greatest and who should be in the MVP category. Because I mean, of course, if you get on any of the WNBA communities, like if you're on Threads or you're on Twitter, you'll see MVP conversation, but I think a lot of those conversations are sometimes led by fans, and I do sometimes that's why you appreciate spaces where it's just like sports media people. And let's be clear, all sports media people may have be a fan of a player or a team, but some people know how to kind of mask it up a little bit to still make the conversations a little bit more digestible and kind of lock you in a little bit. For where the WNBA, I feel like it's almost like a one-sided thing. It's like, hey, I'm a Minnesota Lynx fan. I love Fee. Fee is the only option for MVP. Then it's the same thing for all the Aces fans. They don't care. Minnesota could beat us by 53 points and Asia Wilson still deserves to be the MVP. And so on for whatever team or player you may like. I think realistically, it's like it's a huge kind of gap this missed because I kind of, even for myself right now, I'm trying to think like I love Fee. If you seen any of my videos, you know for a fact I'm root for Minnesota. I love even Angel Reese. I'm cool on the sky, but I love Angel Reese. But so you kind of have those conversations, but I'm still being honest where it's like, if Fee missed too many games, and then let's say the Aces, right now I believe the Aces is what, the 6th seed? And I mean, they tied between them and the Fever. So, I mean, and realistically, I'm sure now the Aces is kind of kicking itself in the butt for them 2 losses against the Fever, because realistically, if they would have won those 2 games, realistically, they could be in the 4th seed because that would have them kind of tied with the Mercury right now. So, again, with all that still being said, it make you still think like, dang, if the Aces can kind of go on a winning streak and Fee don't play enough games, could that kind of put Asia Wilson back in the real conversations for being a back-to-back MVP? Because it's going hard to be denied. Because let's be clear, I don't care how much I love Fee. I understand sports. If she missed too many games, it's kind of like when Joel Embiid to put up God-level numbers, but if you don't play enough games, I can't necessarily put you in that MVP conversation. So if the Aces end up let's say the season end, when the season ends, and Fee may only come back and only play 2 or 3 games. Cool. Like I said, it's still her MVP to lose, but let's say the Aces become the 3rd seed now. I don't necessarily know if the Aces become the 3rd or 4th seed, and especially to a point, at one point in time, they wasn't even above 500 team, and they climb all the way back up and kind of turn it around. I don't necessarily know if I can just be like, this is a guaranteed Fee MVP season. It's hard for me to do that because if she missed 2 weeks and Asia Wilson keep going on the tip, putting up godlike numbers, like, bro, she's putting up, this is video game numbers. This is Jokic type numbers. You put up these type of numbers, it's hard for me to be like, oh, somebody else is the MVP. I can't even be serious if I'm having that real conversation. Like, bro, Asia, like, this is video game number. Like, this is 2K, put your player on 99, dog. Like, this thing about it, I don't care if people sitting here saying this is a Connecticut Sun. Cool, Tina Charles still playing on that team. Tina Charles is the 2nd leading scorer of all time in the WNBA. That's just like somebody going to go drop a 30 or 20 game on LeBron. I don't care if the Lakers stink. That's still LeBron James, dog. And again, I think that's sometimes when we have so much conversation about the WNBA, there's so many people who may chime in and just don't know the history. And that's one thing, like, I hate that the WNBA don't have commercials when I'm watching League Pass, but I do appreciate when they do some of those highlights because it help you get a speed course on free game on what players you may be watching. It was really Himothy. Like, let's be clear, Tina Charles was one of them ones, dog. She ain't just some this ain't just some random bum they got out here. Let's be clear, even if you actually watch this game was way closer than even what the final score was. And shout out to Aaliyah Edwards. Aaliyah Edwards had a couple plays, but she was kind of looked like she was locking Asia Wilson up. And if you're not, I can kind of always go critique and go what bad the WNBA do. But even watching the game and I didn't have the sound on, I'm just watching it. You kind of don't even realize how crazy the points is because it's not coming across the screen or nothing. They're not sitting here telling you kind of what to watch for. So you see certain plays where I'm like, oh, Aaliyah, that was kind of doing her thing. She kind of putting in some work. Like even in that little play right there, you seen her almost strip Asia. So it's kind of just like, don't make it seem like, oh, this is just the Connecticut Sun, so this was just a free lunch play. Nah, dog. Like, she's still dropping buckets off on some elite players just because the team record ain't showing it. That don't mean that work still ain't getting done on that court. And this wasn't still a battle throughout this game. So, again, like I said, man, shout outs to Asia Wilson. Again, I think this is to have real MVP conversation. I think we got to be honest. If Fee don't come back fast enough and the Aces can kind of keep turning it up, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be comfortable to sit here and say, oh, this is just a guaranteed runaway for Fee to get the MVP this year. I mean, it's sad that it come like that, but I mean, that is a part of sports too. Like injuries is a part of sports, so you got to just keep it a bang.